and welcome to Leaders of Tomorrow, India's only daily television platform for small businesses. We bring you the right information to empower you, the SME entrepreneur. Tonight on the show, two small giants in focus. First up, the Minimalist, and also Third Eye Cafe in focus tonight. More than 65% of India's population is under the age of 35, and that's also seeing a reflection as far as the kind of companies and businesses and startups that are being set up. Mansi Chokse is in conversation with one such startup, the Minimalist, which was set up by someone who was still a student when he set up this business, and it was set up on Facebook. It's now gone on to becoming one of the leading companies in the digital space. Take a listen.
The Minimalist started as a Facebook page for thought-inducing witty content in 2015 by two IIT Mumbai students. They grabbed attention with their spot-on, pun-laced designs that held a mirror to society. Fast forward 3 years, and now they're emerging as a fast-growing digital and design consultancy. We caught up with the co-founder of The Minimalist to understand the dynamics of marketing and branding in digital space. The Minimalist started as a Facebook page. How did you come up with the idea for this page? And then what inspired you to build on its popularity and create a digital consultancy?
So when we started this back in 2015, I met my co-founder Chirag, and we were just traveling together to our internships when we were studying at IIT Bombay, and we were engineers by trade actually. But it was during this journey that we found out that both of us were passionate about creativity. And while he was really passionate about design and was a very famous designer because of the concepts that he would come up with, I was more on the side of humor and writing, and I would enjoy demonstrating my creativity in those angles. So when we came together, we realized that we could put together those mutual passions and complementary skill sets to come up with something very unique. And back in the day, if you look at it, minimalism as a field was very, very nascent, even globally. And in India, very few people knew about it. And it was our thought process that simplicity is the ultimate sophistication. Like, if you have to make people think, if you have to provoke thought with your design, simplicity is the way to go. And that is when we came up with the idea of The Minimalist. And we thought that let's start with a Facebook page. Let's create some content around topical days or current affairs or trending news, and give a very minimalistic take on the same that will make people think. And the end result would be people will look at it and say, oh wow, how did you come up with this? So this was the main objective behind us starting The Minimalist. And when we did that, we received a lot of traction. Very soon it snowballed into a cult following of over 100,000 people organically. And looking at that following, a lot of clients started reaching out to us saying that if you're so creative and if you're doing this for fun, why don't you work for us? Why don't you render some professional services? And that's when the agency was born in May 2015.
You created a brand out of a Facebook page. It conveys a lot about the power of social media when it comes to brand building. So tell me, how can SMEs capitalize on social media to build a brand identity?
Right. So in the last 3.5 years of being around in the market, we've been very fortunate to work with over 250 brands globally, which also surprisingly includes a very good mix of large and small SMEs based out of India and abroad as well. So one of the things that we have noticed is that since the digitalization is increasing and the penetration of mobile internet is increasing very rapidly in India, customers have access to information about the services of an SME very easily, and therefore it is very important for these SMEs to know that investing in digital and investing in getting the service out there is extremely crucial at this stage. So one of the things that we do regularly with the SME clients that we work with is try to help them understand the importance of going digital, the importance of having a very good web presence, and also having a great brand identity in place. And these are the things that we have been working with them on a very active basis. So we'll start right from educating them on the importance of having a digital presence, and then going forward and executing with the right strategy for them. Additionally, we also believe that in terms of social media, LinkedIn as a platform is blowing up these days. In fact, as a B2B business ourselves and being an SME ourselves, we have witnessed a great amount of traction that we have received by being active on LinkedIn, by leveraging the right strategy on LinkedIn. It has given us a lot of recognition, a lot of business, a lot of important connections by being active and executing the right content strategy over there. So I would say it is very important to figure out what is the main driver of your business on social media, and then choosing the right partner in order to execute a long-term strategy in order to reap the right benefits from social media.
So I'm going to take a step back. Now I want to talk to you about funding. I understand that the Minimalist was started as a Facebook page, and at that stage no funding was required. How did you manage your funding once you started transforming it into a digital consultancy?
So till date we have not taken any amount of venture funding or external funding. It's a completely bootstrapped company. In fact, it's very surprising that even I and my partner as the founders, we haven't invested a single rupee in order to put this company up. So we have been very fortunate to have been profitable since day one. And we started back in 2015 when a lot of startups were raising huge amounts of venture money. And at that point, what we realized is that this is a business that can stand on its own feet if done the right way. And we wanted to make it stay that way because we didn't want to get into the business of burning money unnecessarily. We always wanted to focus on growth which was sustainable and could create good value for the clients that we are working with. So keeping those core ethos in mind, we have always tried to keep our costs under control and grow in a very sustainable way. So far we haven't taken any funding, but at the same time we are open to any opportunities. While we haven't pursued them very aggressively in the last 3 years, we have seen a lot of good growth and traction, and we are very open to opportunities as well.
So the social media space and digital consultancy or designing is a very saturated area right now. Probably when you started in 2015 it wasn't, but now you have a lot of competition. So what is your USP? What makes you stand out?
Right. So there are a lot of USPs actually in the way in which we differentiate ourselves from our competition. So first of all, this is a company that has been started by engineers from IIT. So it has a completely different perspective on how the operation should run, how we should work with clients, how the business should be built. We are not people who have been in the industry for a long time. We are very young in our approach, and so everything that we have ever done in those 3 years has been completely against the norm and very different. Secondly, you won't find a lot of organizations that deeply believe in a value system, but despite being only 3 years old, we have actually put together something very concrete, and we ensure that it gets percolated so that we as a team can scale up and multiply every year in terms of both team size as well as revenues. Thirdly, in terms of the kind of services that we offer, so we have a branding and communication unit, we have a digital marketing unit, and third business unit that we have is on interaction design, which I just spoke about, where we do a lot of hardcore UI UX across web products, web apps, mobile apps. Now these are generally projects that most digital agencies do not take up because they do not possess the right skill sets to take these up, but we have taken great efforts and measures to ensure that we have a very solid team in terms of information architects, usability experts, UX designers and UI designers. And in fact, we are taking up a lot of international projects where we are developing CRMs, LMS systems, we are developing e-commerce portals, aggregator websites, and this completely sets us apart from all the agencies that are there in the market because this is a very niche skill set.
You started your business while you were still in college. What were some of the biggest challenges that you faced?
Right. There were myriad challenges when I started this journey. We started back in May 2015, and that is a point when I was 21 years old and I was still in college. So one of the biggest challenges was that I had 1 year to go, and the final year project that I had to do at IIT Bombay was turning out to be an albatross around my neck. Secondly, we were entering a space that we had absolutely no idea about. It's like asking a media graduate to go and build a mechanical engineering company, because if you have no idea about where you're going, it becomes a very difficult thing to find your way through. Like you said, we had no money to begin with. We were just kids, barely out of college, who had no money in their pockets but wanted to start a company. And while we did not require funding initially, the cash crunch did pinch us at times, and it was a little difficult to navigate through all the financial constraints that we had. And finally, we entered the market at a time where it was very difficult to hire designers. So India in itself has a huge dearth of design talent. In fact, it produces much lesser designers than you would normally require.
So what is the future looking like for the Minimalist?
So there's a lot of things that we have in the pipeline. To start with, we have witnessed tremendous growth in the organization. We have gone just from the two of us to a team of almost 70 odd people in the last 3 years. We wish to continue that trend going forward. We have been doubling revenues year on year, and we hope that is actually going to happen in the coming years. We have a lot of international clients right now, but at the same time, our vision is to go global with our offerings. So what we would like to do is probably set up shop internationally, because the kind of work that we are doing and the kind of sensibilities that we have developed is something that has been appreciated a lot internationally as well. Additionally, now the digital spends in India are increasing a lot, but soon there will be an equilibrium between traditional media and digital media. So we wish to capitalize that because we have an offering which integrates both of them. So while we have a digital marketing and a UI UX division, we also have a branding and communication team that works on brand strategy, brand identity, videos, print, BTL. So having both these expertise areas in-house is going to put us in a right spot to become the right growth partners for all kinds of businesses, specifically large corporates and Fortune 500 companies who want to invest in a young, dynamic setup that helps them integrate both these offerings.
Well, all the best for that, and thank you so much for speaking with us.
Thank you so much.
The Minimalist is a product of changing mediascape in India. Rapid digitization, easy access to internet, and emergence of social media has opened massive opportunities for SMEs in digital branding space. How emerging entrepreneurs capitalize this shift will be conclusive for marketing, advertisement, and branding industry.
On the other side of this quick break, we bring you the story of Third Eye Cafe, which is providing employment opportunities to transgenders. In 2014, the Supreme Court passed a landmark judgment recognizing transgenders as the third gender. We still may have a long way to go when it comes to India Inc. being an equal opportunity employer, but one business right here in Mumbai is ensuring it's doing its bit by hiring and training and integrating into society transgenders. Sahil Vaidya caught up with the founders of Third Eye Cafe to really talk to them about how they're doing something different and giving back to society. Listen.
Mahi Pujari, a confident transgender employee, has broken the stereotypes of the community to earn a living. The Third Eye Cafe in Vashi, Navi Mumbai employs transgenders to change the overall perspective of society. The cafe at present has 6 transgender employees. 4 of them work as table attendants, 1 is in the kitchen and 1 works as the manager. I want to understand the concept of this cafe. Let me start by asking you the story behind the Third Eye Cafe. What can you tell us about it?
Third Eye Cafe is a space which is devoid of all discriminations, all stereotypes, and a space for everyone to live in. This is a restaurant basically which serves food, at the same time gives some opportunity to the people who are deprived and not been seen in the society for long. So this is a cafe which provides employment for the third gender, the transgender community, which is somewhere always been there in the society, but never been given a respectable job or never been given a platform to showcase their own talents to get somewhere in the middle of the crowd, not been given a mainstream job. So this is one cafe which gives them that opportunity to meet and greet people, at the same time work with them and talk to them, and also the people to get to know the transgenders better.
The stigma attached to the transgenders, is society bringing in a change? Do you see a change which is coming into the society?
Of course, there's been a lot of change in terms of the people which talk to us, or the kind of surveys we have done towards the people. We've realized that a lot of people have actually come across and told us that we wanted to see this change. Of course, because of the internet and the fast-paced life we are into, the education we are into, people have a lot of empathy. People are looking forward to such spaces which give them equal opportunities and equal rights and gives them a respectable position.
Sure.
But at the same time, they want the third gender to come up and take up jobs and do something extraordinary and do something which is mainstream rather than doing odd jobs. That is what the people want in the longer run, and that is what we're trying to do. At the same time, we're trying to realize the needs of the community as well as the people, what they would want to see from the community.
Well, a lot of corporates and MNCs have incorporated equal opportunity employer these days, but we'll still see that there's a dearth where they are not getting the right kind of employment.
Of course, because there are two ways about this. One is the problem with the community and one with the people. So if I talk about the problem with the community, the community is a little skeptical right now because all throughout these years they've never got that right opportunity, never got that respect, never got the environment to develop themselves. So they're always a little skeptical to how will it happen, how will this take place. Even before we started this cafe, people had a lot of skepticism about, will the people accept us, will people have the food we are serving from our own hands, will people have it. So all these what we call it dilemmas, or all these mental blocks which people had, is slowly it is going to vanish, or slowly it is going to diminish, but it will take some time. At the same time, the corporates right now are willing. I'm really happy to see a lot of corporates talking about it, having dedicated jobs, but they're not getting it because there's a lack of eligibility, because most of the transgenders are not very educated to fit the job criteria they are providing. Or at the same time, if we've sent people to corporate jobs also. It's not that we had able candidates, very few of them, but we had able candidates to represent and go give them a job. But once they started the job, the environment which was around them, it was not fit for them, because right now the corporates are ready to give them a job, but the corporates are not highly educated about the third gender.
This cafe is a passion of yours mixed with business, right? So I want to understand that the ups and downs and challenges you have gone through. Tell us something about it.
There have been times when we need to choose between the business and the passion. There have been hard times when you need to know what is the most righteous, or what should be done ethically or business ways.
Right.
So we've had hard times because of that, because sometimes we tend to do discrimination in terms of we sometimes pay our transgenders higher than our employees which are better, but we do that out of our passion, because we want them to stay. We give them extra attention, but I think slowly and steadily the discrimination should stop. So we are coming to an entire year end, completing a year by the next month. So once that happens, slowly we will get everyone at par, so that everyone gets equal treatments. But discrimination in the other sense has been happening because we wanted to make them feel a little special, because that has never happened.
The government in 2016 had passed a law for the rights of transgenders, but that really didn't reserve any of their rights for employment. I want to know your thoughts on that.
I think government has to do something. It's doing its part. I think majorly, I think government should be looking more into education part of a transgender, which will help them in a longer vision, which is a long-term goal, which I think should be the vision that the government should have. Second is, I think the government will have ultimately a quota reserved for them, which basically is an impromptu, by default move of any government in India to uplift a community or a deprived community. That's how they work out. So a quota is what they can do, and they will do, I suppose. So I will expect that to happen. But apart from that, I don't think so the government will come into each one's house and ask them to reciprocate towards a transgender. It is something which is very individual. So even if you have a quota reserved, we need to have able candidates to take that place.
Absolutely.
So if the government does its part, there has to be community guys who should take up that job and be that eligible to take that job. So that will take time. Right now, I think it's going to be more the people than the government taking a lot of part in the solution, because if the people reciprocate well, the government will actually do it.
You have been associated with transgenders in the past. This cafe is the best platform for them to come and work. What's there in the pipeline?
A lot of things actually. We've been planning a lot of small things. We're planning a lot of big things, but at a macro level, we would want to be present in different cities so that we reach out to a lot of people in regards to the language we speak, in regards to the things we do. We want people to know that there is a place called Third Eye Cafe which employs a third gender, because a lot of people in the city, in the country are in distress. Somewhere if they know that Third Eye Cafe is a space which will give them respect as well as train them and make them able to get to a better space tomorrow, then nothing like it. We want to represent that part of it somewhere. A business part of it always follows. It's nothing which isn't. It's always collateral. So business also always takes care of itself, and this will always take care of itself. So this is something we've learned in the year, that these two things can move. It needs a little detail to it.
Thank you so much for giving your time, and wish you all the luck.
Thank you.
The third gender community has always been devoid of respect, and despite being educated, they haven't got the opportunity to work and receive employment.
हम कोई अलग नहीं है, हम आप में से ही एक है। अलग सिर्फ अपने समझ में रखा है, आपने अपनी सोच में रखा है, बाकी हम अलग नहीं है। हम आपके जैसे हैं, हम आपके साथ उठना बैठना चाहते हैं, हम आपके जैसे काम करना चाहते हैं। सिर्फ सवाल इतना था, या पहले प्रॉब्लम इतना था कि कोई काम नहीं दे रहा था, और अभी जैसे काम मिले तो आप हमें काम दे के देखिए, हम आपके जैसे काम कर सकेंगे।
जैसे हम चेंज हुए, औरों को भी मौका मिलना चाहिए चेंज होने का, तो इसलिए जगह जगह ऐसे कुछ चीज़ों को खोलना चाहिए, जैसे शॉप है या कुछ ऐसा कंपनी है जिसमें टीजियों को जॉब का ऑफ़र मिल सके। टीजियों में सभी एक जैसे नहीं होते हैं, हम लोगों को भी में भी काफ़ी अच्छे ग्रेजुएशन पढ़े लिखे लोग हैं और क्वालिफाइड लोग हैं, तो इसलिए मौका मिलना चाहिए कि एक चांस मिले।
The customers have accepted this development with open arms.
It is a mindset of the society. They should accept the transgender as they are equal as among them.
The Third Eye Cafe, with its inclusive approach and vision, is ending the prejudice against the third gender, setting an example for society by providing them with livelihood and employment.
That's our show tonight. If you want to be featured here on the show, like either the Minimalist or Third Eye Cafe, here's how you let us know. leadersoftomorrowtimesgroup.com is our email ID. On social media, tweet at us, Sunanda_J, which is my personal Twitter handle, or LOT_ET Now. Get in touch with us on our Facebook page, Leaders of Tomorrow on ET Now. Thanks for watching. Have a good night.